Welcome to the Mercy Project video series. Each of us in our life have known in one form or another sorrow and sadness and loss. To comfort the sorrowful is a spiritual act of mercy. Today, David and Sister Marion tell us about how they engage in that ministry in their lives.
I'm Sister Marion Castelluccio, an Adrian Dominican sister. I'm a member of St. Columba Parish in North Oakland, Berkeley. I also work for Catholic Charities of the East Bay as a psychiatric social worker and a therapist. And the ministry I do is to support families in the city of Oakland who've had a loved one murdered.
My name is Dave Stein, and I'm a member of St. Isidore's Parish in the Oakland Diocese. I'm also an Assistant District Attorney in the Alameda County District Attorney's Office, where I handle cases involving violent crime.
I was attracted to the ministry of supporting people who've had a loved one murdered in the city by a wonderful woman named Millie Burns. She came to our church, she was a member, and I remember saying to her one day, Millie, when I retire from the county, I want to work with you. I want to support the families who are suffering by the violence and the trauma of a homicide.
As you can imagine, the terrible trauma and grief that family members of murder victims experience, it's heart-wrenching. And to see their pain as these cases unfold during the course of a trial really calls out for some type of comforting, some type of healing.
Our service to families who've had a loved one murdered has two prongs to it. Our first responders show up within 24 hours when the people find out that their loved one's been murdered, walk them through the victim of crime benefit, help them plan their funeral, help them get through those awful first days of trying to even realize what's happened in their lives. As the funeral takes place, then those of us who are called the second responders step in. We support the families, we go to their homes, because when you've experienced trauma and violence, it's really hard to keep appointments, it's hard to get on the bus, it's hard to do those things. So we support people where they live, we go to their homes. We walk with clients for about a year.
Fortunately, in my capacity as an Assistant District Attorney and as a Catholic, I'm in a position to work with these families through the ordeal of a trial and obtain for them direct and professional counseling services through a partnership with the Alameda County District Attorney's Office, Catholic Charities of the East Bay, and the City of Oakland. And these cases, they're very difficult for everybody involved. And oftentimes, family members are called as witnesses during the trial. And when that happens, it requires a tremendous amount of courage and a tremendous amount of strength.
In order to do the walk with our families and companion them as they learn to live with this hole in their heart and deal with their trauma and their violence, it's really important we allow their pain to touch our lives. I can't walk in as a head, I have to walk in as a heart. And I could not journey with people in their pain unless I had a God who held me up, who journeyed with me, enabled me to take the pain that people are experiencing into my heart and to pray and give it to the heart of God so that God will fill me with compassion, with love, with care in order to companion and to be with folks. So it is a privilege. It is an act of compassion. It's where I feel Jesus would be. It's where Mary was at the foot of the cross.
During the course of my career, I must tell you that I have, in the midst of so much tragedy, in the midst of so much despair, I have witnessed acts of incredible virtue, acts of forgiveness, incredible acts of courage and of sacrifice. And so when you're a witness to that, when you see that, you know that God can't be too far away. And so as a Catholic, you're proud and you're grateful to be a part of it.
I invite you to also journey with people in compassion and care that God puts in your life and your presence. Compassion means being willing to feel the pain of other people. You don't have to make it better, you simply need to be present.
If we all agree that being Christian, being Catholic, means to be striving to be more like Jesus Christ, well then we have to figure out how we're going to help those who are less fortunate, those who live right here in the Bay Area. And why? Well, because we know that's what Jesus would do. So if we all agree we have to do something, we have to contribute some way, somehow, well then it seems to me the only question remaining is, what contribution am I going to make? How am I going to make a difference? And you get to choose. You get to choose from an endless list of ways you can make a difference. But you have to pick one. You can't say none of the above, because I suppose that's the only wrong answer.